My name is Jameel Leon, proud owner of Domb Coffee. I'm here in New York State at Roxbury Mountain Maple Farm. I'm touring the maple farm here. We're getting into peak maple production season. We use maple syrup at our stand at Centennial Park. Currently, we just buy from retailers. We're currently touring this place and taking a look at this beautiful farm, beautiful scenery, and just learning more about the maple production process and how that can make coffee better. The key with us here at Domb Coffee is we always want to stick to local farms, local productions, and obviously we all know Tennessee doesn't really have maple trees or much of a maple presence. So what better than to keep it here in the United States, keep it here in New York State, and just work with the local small business here in the States. So I'm very proud of this opportunity and very excited to go and tour this. I am very thankful, and we're going to be hopefully getting some local U.S. delicious maple syrup for our maple lattes. And again, at Domb Coffee, what we care about most is it being local, it being high quality, no added sugars, straight up maple from the maple trees themselves. I hope you guys enjoy the footage that I am able to gather, and I look forward to serving you at Centennial Park.
I am a farmhand and woodsman. I work in the woods. We deal with cows as well because we're also a beef farm as well. I handle every step outside of the actual sap house. So tapping, maintaining lines, running lines, replacing lines, everything that has to do with the woods.
Okay.
Got into it because I knew the family.
Oh.
And just a great environment, great people, you know.
That's cool.
Needy for work.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that's willing to go out to the woods and deal with the weather, you know, because it's a harsh job. The most common misconception that I can actually think of is people don't realize that we can actually we don't have to use buckets anymore.
Oh yeah.
So we have full plumbing out to the woods.
That's so cool.
One of the misconceptions that I've learned is people don't realize how much actually goes into it.
Yeah.
They think that syrup comes straight from the tree as syrup.
Yeah.
Instead of sap, and what we actually have to do to produce it. Sap House opened in 2011. It was small. This building wasn't here. And it was just the Holster family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they started out very small, and then over the years it just blew up into what it is now. We have almost 30,000 taps.
30,000 taps.
Yeah.
So you're about to hit your peak season, which is in December.
Yeah.
Of production.
Yep.
And you sell throughout the year.
Yeah. So we have to have a string of days where the temperatures are below zero.
Oh, wow.
For us to consider even trying to get sap out of them.
Jeez. Well, those are some harsh conditions to be in, and much respect for that. And we're looking forward to hopefully, having your maple syrup in our lattes.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it too.
So think about that for a minute. This man's hard work goes into your latte that you're enjoying at home. So super, super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to touring it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We tap a tree, and then it goes through a drop line to a main line, which will go to a wet dry line. That'll then go from our vacuums to a tank so our vacuums will pull it into a releaser, and that is a tank that'll hold sap to be released into a bigger tank after it filters out the bacteria and whatever else it may have accumulated over the season.
So basically there's sap in the trees.
Yeah.
Sap is drained from the trees.
Yeah.
When you tap into the tree so you're just like knocking into it like with like a rod, or are you drilling?
So we'll take a drill and we'll drill about an inch into the tree, might be like an inch and a half into the tree, and then we'll hammer a tap into it, which I can actually show you a tap. So this is actually one of our taps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
And
it'll be about that much into the tree.
wow. And so it just drips out.
Yeah.
Like it just like, oh, and do you know where
right
on the
into the tree?
where on the tree?
So we have a system that we follow from every last season. We'll start from the hole that we did last year, and we'll do this. We really have to go around like this because it looks like last year's might have been right here. So we'll go here, or we'll go to here, and we'll tap the tree right there.
Wow.
Yep.
You tap it in and then just start flowing?
Yep.
If you were to go out there and do that right now, nothing would come out?
Something would probably come out, but because it's not so for the reason we can't do it right now is it hasn't frozen yet.
Oh.
Everything has to freeze before the tree will actually produce that sugar content that we need.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
They are producing sap right now. And if you put a tap into the tree, it would drain, but it wouldn't be what we want it to be.
That makes sense. It wouldn't be sweet enough.
It wouldn't have that sugar content that we need. It has to freeze. So when it freezes, what the tree does is it enters a state where it's not trying to keep itself alive anymore. Essentially,
it goes dormant.
Yeah, it goes dormant, so it just sits there and produces sap because this is the time of the year where it gets its cold, so it has to it doesn't use all of its whatever to keep it doing other things. That's why when the leaves come back, it gets real bitter. You stop tapping before the leaves come back because you can't. You don't want to eat that sap.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's
So,
really gross.
so is this the reason why these trees, or is this the reason why maple syrup only comes from the Northeast?
Yes.
Because if you were in Oregon, the trees don't freeze enough.
Well, as long as you have a deep freeze, if there's a maple tree and a deep freeze, you can tap it. But this is the tubing that we use. This is one of our drops. So this is the tap. It goes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it goes into the tree, and then this intercepts with a line. So this would go like that onto a series of, we call them laterals.
Yeah.
They attach to a main line. I don't have any main line in here right now. But this will attach to that, and then it's all gravity. So when you tap the tree, it'll most likely be like this. Here's the lateral. You have to keep the tap high enough. You can't tap down here.
Correct.
Because
gravity.
It won't work. Like when we clean out the lines, if you hold the line actually down like this, it won't drain it.
That makes sense.
You have to do this way, or as straight as possible. So there's that, and then this is where all the stuff comes in from.
Oh, wow.
So that's a releaser that will actually fill up to a certain point and then release into a tank.
Okay, so it's coming from the tree. So you have it in a barrel. How many gallons do you produce per tree?
So it actually doesn't go into a barrel.
Oh.
So the very end process.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't use the barrels. So
how do you capture it?
It comes in through these. So these are actually labeled the location that they're in. And then it'll go into this thing. This is a bacteria trap.
Oh.
Yeah. So
is there a lot of bacteria in it in its raw form?
Yeah. Oh. And bacteria comes from just the tree itself has its own natural bacteria. And then the way we clean the lines is you can't always get it all out without completely replacing the line every year, which is insane.
Yeah.
So there's going to be bacteria in that as well, and that'll all come through here and immediately get caught by that trap, and then it'll go through here into this, and this is a whole pump system as well. This will then push it out, and then it comes into here.
Yeah.
There's a line out in the woods called the wet dry line, which the wet part takes all the sap back to the sap house or the corresponding.
So this is plumbed all the way to the woods.
Yeah, there's plumbing all in the woods.
What the?
Yeah. So there's a wet line which carries all the sap back to the tank, and then there's a dry line which usually goes up underneath the wet line. That's where all the vacuum comes from.
And is there a way to like monitor the flow? Like, are there
Yeah.
times of the year where like there's no flow at all?
So we have on the wall right here, there's this thing called the sap spy,
Okay.
and that'll actually monitor the lines to see when, like, what's going on. It'll help us find leaks. It'll help us, determine how much flow. And we also have a vacuum thing right here.
Yeah.
That'll tell us the amount of PSI. So if we have a problem in the woods, that vacuum will be drastically low. And that'll tell us, okay, we have to go out there. We have to find something. Something's wrong.
Have you guys found like a bear or something like destroyed a pipe or really?
Yeah, so many times actually.
Wow.
Because they want to eat the sap.
What?
Yeah, because so our
That's
lines
funny.
actually get eaten by rodents, like mice, chipmunks, squirrels, even.
How do you not have like a mouse like get stuck in the?
So,
I'm sure that's
a
happened.
really good question. How do you not? I guess you don't really know, because this is about the size of the lines that are out in the woods. But usually, if there's a break that bad for something that size to get in, we usually know about it.
Wow, that is so cool. So it comes in, you have direct plumbing to the actual tree, and it comes into here.
In some fascinating shape or form, this pipe is connected to a tree.
Wow, that is so fascinating.
So it comes off of this pipe. We'll have a line that'll come off of it to make a main line. This is a wet dry. We'll have a main line that'll come off of it, and then that main line will have like 70 of those little lines coming off of it.
Wow.
Yeah, we call them laterals. So when it gets to here, then it goes into here. And these are holding tanks.
So this part removes the bacteria, and then it gets brought into a holding tank.
Yep, and then it gets brought into the holding tank where it'll be... This is a whole pipe right here with a bunch of heat tape on it to keep it from freezing.
Yeah.
So we'll take... we'll plug in this pipe, for instance, right here. We'll plug it into the tank that we need. If we need to plug it into tank 3, we'll plug it in. It'll go into here, and then it'll go up through into the osmosis room.
Yeah.
And then that'll create the concentrate.
Wow.
So there's a tank actually upstairs in the sap house that holds all the concentrate.
So right now, this is all just dormant. This is all just...
there is water in these two. So when it goes through the osmosis machine, when it pulls out all that water, it's actually called permeate. Yeah, it's a pure form of water. Then it goes into this where it'll sit there in a boil. There's 2 separating pans in here.
Yeah.
And we actually use coconut oil.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's organic.
Yes.
And it's the only way. If we didn't use coconut oil, and we don't use a big old glob of it, but it'll take a little spoonful of it, dump it in, and
only a
that'll
spoon.
keep it from boiling over.
What?
It will boil up to past this limit. So there's a pan in here, and then it'll go to here where it'll have a drop-off point right here, and then it'll go through here.
Oh, wow.
So this is a press, and we use these super fine filter papers and diatomaceous earth.
You use diatomaceous earth for that?
We use diatomaceous earth for
Why?
There might not be any out here, but that helps with actually making it to eat, really. So
really?
The diatomaceous earth isn't actually in it. It's a filter.
Oh.
Yeah. So
and I can see how there's some syrup down there.
Yeah. Well, this actually we use the vacuum, because that's a pump. We'll use it to pump out of the barrels, and then it'll go into the hot packing. But these plates hold a filter here and here, and it'll be just full of diatomaceous earth.
Oh, wow.
And you won't actually experience any of it in the syrup.
In the final product.
But it squeezes really tight.
Wow.
using a hydraulic
Press. Yeah.
And then it's
Then the final product is it's bottled here.
Yep, it'll be bottled from here into one of these tanks, like that one, for instance. We'll put it right here, and we'll drop. It's not here right now, but we'll drop a pipe into it, and we'll use the other end of this, and we'll put it into here. And this is our little canner. Believe it or not,
what?
This is $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll fill it up to a certain amount. Like
there's some in there right now.
There is some in there right now. And we'll fill it up and we'll heat it to 160, between 180 degrees. And that doesn't cook it further. If you do it further, it'll cook it more.
Oh.
Which we don't want to do. It'll boil over. It has boiled over. So
sure.
During that, we'll use the draw-off valve, and we'll fill up everything that you see in there has been filled up from here.
Wow,
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So
why does it have to be heated up again for max flow?
Max flow, it gets, when they sit in the barrel, if they have any reason of like expansion or fermentation, it'll rescue it.
Ooh, this is the inventory room.
This is our market room. This is, I guess, inventory market. We refill it all the time, and they're not here right now, but we have a van that's usually parked right out there that goes to the market in Union Square.
Oh, in
New York City.
New York City. That's
Yep.
cool.
So we sell to them. This is our supply of candies. Everything's labeled. This is golden, and so forth. And that's pretty much it. After that, it doesn't go anywhere else.